everyone, it's Paulie Piccirillo, and I want to announce my new book. It's out in paperback now. It's in eBook, it's also Kindle, and it's paperback book now, and it's called Brown Thumb, Green Thumb. And don't pay attention to this stripe across here. This is just a proof for me so that I can check it out and make sure everything is within the bleed lines and that all the pictures turned out. But it is called Brown Thumb, Green Thumb. It is a breakthrough in rediscovering growing plants naturally. Now, I wrote a book called The Worm Farming Revolution, and there was a revolution going on. It's been a rather long revolution, but it has been nevertheless a revolution, and people have been coming out of synthetic fertilizers and growing and composting things organically and naturally. And now that I believe the revolution has come to an end and the awakening is here. So many more gardeners and composters are coming into this awakening, and they're doing things naturally. And so some of you may not see the back of the book. So let me read the back of the book to you. And I kind of see the revolution as over and a new era has begun. And we've just barely scratched the surface because there's so many people coming back into what is healthy as far as food and medicine and things that they're putting in their body. They want the body to start breaking everything down organically and using it naturally. And it's hard to do when you feel your body full of all the junk. But we all know about that, and that's not what I really want to discuss. But I'm going to read the back of the book to you. Here's what the book looks like. There's going to be a link down below so that you can click on the link and get the book. But basically what the back says is that the awakening is here. 2020 is over. Chemical fertilizers are behind us, and gardeners are ready to depend on themselves for food and medicine. Now a new age has begun. Most gardeners today are growing plants naturally and in many different ways. We know nature does it best, but what's really going on down inside the soil? What's going on inside the plants? That's important too. How do minerals act as natural fertilizer? How does the soil community bond and assimilate over 70 minerals into healthy food and medicine? This gardening book will teach you how to understand and apply nature in order to grow amazing plants. So who said having a brown thumb was bad? It's just misunderstood. So it's time to put both thumbs to work. You'll learn why 2021 is a new pioneering era of LED lighting, soil biology, compost tea, worms, microbes, and macrobes, and a mineral breakthrough like you've never learned before. I pull it all together in a practical and scientific way in this new book created just for 2021 and beyond. That is the back of the book, and it is full of right around 150 pictures so that you can visualize what I'm talking about. It has all of my pictures on there, along with a couple other microscopic pictures here. And I've also added my screenplay pictures and kind of doctored them up a little bit so that you can kind of understand what's going on in the picture. And I'll kind of walk you through the table of contents. Chapter 1 is the plant cycle. Chapter 2 is discovering the soil, what's dirt and what's soil. Chapter 3 is how soil works. Chapter 4 is minerals. Chapter 5 is photosynthesis explained. And Chapter 6 is understanding light. And that's very important because a lot of people, I see this all the time, a lot of people are starting their seedlings or seeds indoors, and they're putting it next to the window, and they're thinking that they're going to grow a good seedling. And if you're not in that PAR, that photosynthetically active radiation window between 400 and 700 nanometers of photons, your plant is not going to photosynthesize properly. You're just going to get spindly plants. So that's very important. So if it doesn't have direct sunlight or the right grow light, then you're wasting your time. You're just going to have to start all over again. So that's one of the things that I talk about. And I talk about the PAR and the light, using the light spectrum, the full light spectrum, for those that like to grow indoors. And another thing I talk about in this book is carbon. Carbon is so important. And even if you've got nitrogen or other sources, you got minerals, you got nitrogen, you got carbon, but those are all being composted, but everything turns to carbon, and carbon is so neutral, and it's like the most important food source for plants and for the microbes in the soil. So I really discussed that. I go through the minerals and why minerals are so important, because the minerals are actually fertilizer. What is the plant doing with over 100 different minerals? I break that down and tell you what's going on inside the plant. I'm explaining the photosynthesis and the Calvin cycle when the light hits it and the carbon dioxide comes in, and how it uses that and turns the carbon dioxide into a solid to make plant food and to go down and into the roots and send out exudates. Now, exudates are one of the most misunderstood things, but it's starting to gain in popularity, because really I break it down to three major things, and that's sunlight, and it's photosynthesis, and it's carbon. So those three things right there, and two things you don't have to worry about, but carbon is very important to understand. So this book is about 200. If you get the ebook off my website, it's 180 pages. But what I'm trying to really teach people is that you've got to have a brown thumb before you can have a green thumb. And a brown thumb isn't necessarily bad. A brown thumb is a good thing. It's just misunderstood. But it's time to put both thumbs to work, because when you work hard and you work smart, you put them both together, you're going to have a powerful gardening season. Your plants are going to be full of great minerals that the body can use, all the different compounds that are in it. The plant's assimilating all those compounds naturally, the way that it's supposed to be. So get this book and start growing food and medicine. Put your future in your own hands and start getting your food supply and depending on yourself, because that's what I've been teaching for many years, is that you are the only one that you can really trust. But it's all here in this book, and I think you'll really enjoy it and the way it's all broken down. So get brown thumb, green thumb today. I'll have the links below. It's in paperback now, so that's really exciting. So this is Paulie Piccirillo, and I'll see you next episode.